Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Watchman with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Let's make some noise together. Come on, get excited, clap it up. Wherever you are, we are back with a whole jam-packed episode for you today with a lot of topics to cover around the sports world, specifically around the boxing world as a whole. Lot of stuff is broken up around as it comes to fruition from the standpoint of fights, news, and all around excitement surrounding the world of boxing as a whole, because we now have call-outs from two of some of the biggest stars in the world. That's right, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney have had a tirade on Twitter going against each other. Yes, indeed, calling each other out. Essentially saying, this is it. We going for broke, and we want to make it essentially, hey, look, and the time is now. The day is here, and we ready to fight. Is it actually going to come to fruition? I'm going to tell you why I think that fight is guaranteed, as well as with some other news involving the fights that potentially got made. Talks with potentially Devin Haney and Rolly Romero, which again, full disclaimer, I'm going to shut down why that fight most likely is not going to happen, and why, in fact, Rolly Romero is trying to make that fight because he doesn't want to fight his man to a better. Hold on, conversation, but that and so much more on the docket of today. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying the afternoon. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Come on, be a part of the hottest show in all the globe and join the empire. Come join this community that we have going on together. Also be sure to rate us, no, not rate us, I'm sorry. Also be sure to hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube. So leave a like on the channel. One click makes a world of difference. Let the world see what we have going on here on our show. And please be sure of everything else that's important. Share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make it possible to be grander, bigger, stronger, and all around better as a show for you to witness and enjoy. And if you want to support the channel here, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chats, super gifts, and whatever other things you can give to support the channel. If you want to see the show keep on going, helps me to pay the bills and helps us to edify and make this show better and more enjoyable for you, the listener and viewer. Absolutely. And please be sure to raise 5 stars on every podcasting platform imaginable. Wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you name it, we are there. Absolutely. But all that being said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of show that we need to dive into. We had to adjust my camera real quick. Hold on a second. I didn't realize I was looking a tad bit crooked up here. Let me see if I can straighten this out real quick. We should be, there we go. There we go. Looking good now, and now we're ready to go and conquer the world. So without further ado, we got a lot of show to cover. We got boxing dubbing too. We got debates to have, and we got fights to essentially disseminate about. So with all that being said, it is time to do what we do best. It's time to step into the ring, and it's time to start the show, shall we? Come on. Yes, sir. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Got my tea, got my drink, got my refreshment. It's time for us to step into the ring and do what the best. It's time to fight, and it's time to talk. And with the first talk of this whole show, which would be lead off with Garcia versus Haney. The rematch looks to be imminent. Oh, yes, indeed. Over the course of the weekend, we had a plethora of back and forth over social media with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney essentially throwing jabs at each other, throwing shots at each other, as well as essentially over the internet confirming, hey, we are going to make this fight happen, at least on paper. What is it going to be the case? We're going to talk about it right now. Also, Moon Man, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today on our show. Means the world to me. Ryan is the money man. A-side, he calls the shot. We're going to talk about it. A-side, B-side. Who's the bigger fighter? Who should get the bigger cut of the purse? Even though the whole A-side, B-side conversation we discussed a little bit earlier, not even a little bit, way earlier, I think in 2025 and or late 2024. So going to be revisiting an older conversation involving these two. and how exactly it's going to pan out. Also, Truth, what's going on? Welcome back to the show. We're so happy to be gracing us with your presence. We're so happy that you're joining back in with us on our show. And like I said, Haney and Garcia, if you did not know, if you were under a rock over the course of social media, we had a plethora of back and forth between two of some of the biggest names and some of the biggest rivalries in all of boxing as a whole. And Ryan and Devin Haney, and it kind of blowed over with Ryan Garcia going on social media, essentially putting out, if I can pull up the picture right here, putting out essentially this picture, going through and saying, hey, this is what we want. This is what we desire. This is what we want to happen. And we had Devin Haney responding in kind, wanting that fight as well. And they had a whole back and forth over social media, talking about VADA testing, talking about how they wanted to go through and make it so that if you ain't under VADA, we're going to make it happen. Ryan Garcia said, bet, we're going to make it happen. And then the biggest of the conversations over social media was, in fact, this one tweet with Ryan Garcia this one tweet in reference to Ryan Garcia about what he's going to do towards Devin Haney. And as you can see, they put up some of the jabs with each other over social media. Devin Haney was saying this had bad blood as a unification fight. Biggest fight in boxing. Right now is the time. Let's start the discussions. These are Ryan Garcia's words. You'll never fight it. You're quoting, you'll never fight again after this. Now that's some bold words. That's some bold words. Again, this is straight from the horse's mouth himself. He's straight from Ryan Garcia's mouth himself. You'll never fight after this again. I will send you into retirement. Then he had a long, drawn-out spiel about how it's going to be a situation where I'm going to make sure the next time you wake up, it's going to be with an IV in a hospital looking at you, or the nurses looking at you, because you are going to be put in the dirt, per Ryan Garcia's own words. Paraphrasing, but essentially that's what he was talking about. And this fight has heated up from nothing to something very, very quickly. From the standpoint of this is what I said was going to be the next course of action. Did I not? Did I not? Did I not? I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but did I not say? Did I not allude to the fact that this was going to be the next fight on the docket? This was both of them, especially Devin Haney, has been pointing this out. This is the fight to make, and there is no time to waste time in making this fight happen. There's no world where nobody looks at this fight and says, hey, this wouldn't be one of the three biggest of the year. And you can't risk something going wrong with this fight happening. You can't. You can't. From the standpoint of the positioning, now it's set in stone. They almost had it when it was a couple years ago on the New York Riyadh season card, when Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia were fighting not against each other, but on the same card with each other. Yet, when this took place, Ryan Garcia lost. Ryan Garcia looked bad. Devin Haney looked bad. But Ryan Garcia ultimately was the one that didn't keep his end of the bargain. And what could have been, when we were watching the fight with Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios, that could have been Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. It could have been. But now, looks like we're finally going to get this fight going to fruition. Now, in the lead up to this whole conversation, I brought up the fact that we also have Rolly Romero as a player in this picture. Yes, as a person who he could also be injecting himself into getting a fight with one of these other people, and that's predominantly a fight with Devin Haney is the goal of what he wants to happen. And the reason being why that's the case is because let me backtrack a little bit. It's very convenient that now we have Rolly Romero all of a sudden coming through and wanting to make this fight happen, talking a whole lot of talk about him wanting to get in the ring with one Rolly Romero. And he even put out a tweet over social media involving this fight taking place. And I can put it up on screen as we delve into picture in picture. Ryan's the biggest coward in boxing, ducking our rematch clause. When we had the entire deal, purse, revenue splits done, he gets scared, decides to fight a complete weight drain Barrios, so they're completely weight draining Mario Barrios. He only wants pillow fisted bums. Then goes out and calls out the likes of and I think on social media had another thing where he called out Devin Haney, talking about Devin officially ducked Rowley, Keyshawn Davis, Tiger Johnson, still in the middle of suing Ryan Garcia in the zone for airing the fight. Now all of this comes off the backs of, again, this announcement of Devin and Ryan Garcia taking place. And so Rowley is trying to now butt into this whole tirade of wanting to fight each other. But it's very ironic that he's now trying to get a fight with both of them at this point in time, because of the fact that Rolly Romero was in a position that he could have called his shot and said, yeah, let me get Devin Haney for the next championship. But he himself, and I'm quoting, said, I will let Ryan Garcia fight and rematch Devin Haney. Why? Because Devin Haney deserves his revenge. And he's gone on multiple occasions saying that Devin Haney I don't want to fight Devin Haney. Why do I want to waste time fighting somebody who is boring to no end, he's not an exciting fight for me? He makes no sense for me. There's no point in me getting in the ring and putting people to sleep from the standpoint of this is going to be a fight that nobody will enjoy. So I don't want to waste my time. He said that on multiple occasions. So it's very uniquely concerning that he's all of a sudden in the midst of this fight looking like, okay, all roads leading towards Devin and Ryan Garcia, even above the likes of Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis, as a fight that people were talking about, and that Keyshawn Davis was indeed hunting down. This is very odd, is it not? Very unique from a person we've been saying for a number of years, have been vocally docile from what he normally does in the standpoint of how he goes about how he goes about talking about fights, building them up of recent years. And it's all because of one thing that I can come to fruition with. He doesn't want to fight his own mandatory. If you didn't know, Rolly Romero just had announced fight for his own mandatory challenge against somebody who, if I'm to be honest, for Rolly Romero, it's not worth the risk and reward that fight will be becoming a part of, due to the fact that he himself is very, I don't want to say it's moving scared, but it's moving mighty different. Mighty different from what was initially going through. Because if I have my news correct, let me actually pull it up real quick. Romero and his mandatory at this point in time, which was again confirmed and has been mandated by the WBA as to it's got to happen, is against Shakram Giasov. And if you haven't heard of Giasov is a cat. That brother is a monstrous threat to fight. I'm talking about he can go undefeated 17-0. Great knockout power. Very dangerous as a butt in this division on the level of against Rolly Romero. He can go and win the war that we would normally see Rolly want to fight against. Looks like he's trying to get out of that mandatory to get a bigger payday. Even though it's a fight that he would lose against Devin Haney and against this version of Ryan Garcia, at least we can infer, because Ryan Garcia looked very good in his last fight. He wants to not have to fight Giasov, who is a very high risk and not nearly the level of reward that we've seen from past fights that Rolly would want to take. So that's why he's trying to butt his head into this type of business. But all that being said, the biggest thing that we're having right now, this Rolly fight is not Rolly fight. This Ryan fight versus Haney is the end all be all to make happen. And we're talking about the A-side, B-side conversation as we went with Moonman. It's a real question. And I would think, and it might not sound fair, going off of Moonman's chat, might not sound fair, but we may see Ryan Garcia actually be the A-side in this fight. We may see it. Now, I'm not trying to sound unfair. Please understand. I am not trying to sound unfair in the slightest. Because it sounds very sketchy. How can you say somebody like Devin Haney should not be the A-side or won't be seen as the A-side in the whole talks and in the whole conversation if we see this fight indeed take place with the accolades, the championships, the undefeated record, the names that he's beaten, the big-time fights that he has already been in, and the most recent fight with Brian Orman Jr., how in the world can you say that we should see Devin Haney not get in a fight? Oh, yeah. Also, we got some new sounds now. We got some new sounds to go and incentivize you all to want to engage and respond. Also, to add some emphasis on whatever we say and do. We add some new stuff. We're going to keep on adding more stuff as the show goes and continues forward. But even still, Ryan Garcia, he's not nearly as accomplished. How can you say that he should not be the A-side in this discussion? Or how can you say that he is the A-side in this discussion? Well, it's because we're living in a day and age where the accomplishments alone of a fighter may not be enough to get you the vaunted purse and successful money when you're going against a big star versus big star. From the standpoint of once you reach this level of elite threshold. Now it should be, hey, your legacy defines you. And that's what garners you to deserve what you deserve. However, we also understand that marketability is a huge thing. And Ryan Garcia right now is hot like fish grease with everybody saying, oh my gosh, he looks like the old Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney off the backs of Brian Orman Jr. Maybe because of the fact that it was not as recent, even though it's the last fight that he had. It was a great performance, a phenomenal performance, masterclass performance. But maybe the lingering sting of that last performance with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney won may still linger in the minds of, you ain't pushing the needle in that way, as well as, let's face it, the amount of vitriol and back and forth between these two fights. Excuse me for coughing, I do apologize. It's high potency, it's high level. And because of, I don't want to say the Phoenix Rising type of effect that we see Ryan Garcia all of a sudden looking like what he used to look like, or looking like the best version of what we saw from him. And again, the last time we saw that was in the fight with Devin Haney. People may be having Ryan Garcia already as an early favorite. And they may be saying, hey, yeah, even though you're the more accomplished fighter, he's the guy that you need to get over. Not the other way around. And that sounds backwards, and I understand. Because as we hear the sound again, everybody thinks because like, how? Because Ryan Garcia cheated. He did. Remember that. We were all admitting to it. He cheated. He popped fostering. Everybody remember the shock and awe of the first fight. He popped fostering. He had a great performance. He put down Devin Haney like 3 or 4 times. He dominated the fight, but he was dirty in the fight. And everybody was saying, oh my gosh, we can't trust you. You don't deserve to have this level of cachet. You shouldn't be in this big time scenario. Ban him for a year. Some people were saying ban him for life. Take his fine, strip him, do all that stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the case. But even after that, the public looked at that fight. Well, the public, and this is speculation. Real quick, speculation. What I can infer from the crowd, the public still views that fight now, off the backs of the fight with Mario Barrios, as this cat looked eerily similar. And it's been about a week and everything's been clean post-fight. He looked eerily similar to what he looked like against Devin Haney on Austria, with this time being completely clean. We've seen Devin Haney retool, regroup, fix that like what was coined, the bow and arrow effect, having his left hand up to guard the hooks, or rather his right hand up to guard the left hook. Now has been a bigger staple. All that's there, but still dealing with that type of, seeing that version of Ryan Garcia recoup and come back to full fruition with nothing negative on the docket of drugs being in this fight. Now, people are starting to say, hey, man, it might not be that Devin Haney really is the man to beat in this fight, even though this is his opportunity to get his redemption, similar to Cotto and Margarito, from the standpoint of, I got wronged in the first fight, and now I'm going to go and blow you out the water in the second one, and justice will be served. Some people don't feel that justice is going to be served because they're going to feel that maybe Devin can't beat Ryan Garcia. Now, again, that's not me saying that. I'm saying that's what the public speculation can go and talk about. Once I'll talk about this fight with other people around my own community, and people were saying, my gosh, man, hey, brother, I don't think Devin can beat him in this rematch. I'm picking Ryan to be the favorite, even with Devin Haney being more accolades. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm not sure, but I'm telling you this right now. That's a sentiment. So we better be really mindful about this fight going in, because now everybody's talking and everybody's saying we want to see it. But who is actually going to be the A side in this conversation? It's not as concrete on either end of the spectrum as we may want to think in the first place. But let me keep on reading you all's chats. Like Legendary Super saying, what's going on with you, Jackson? How you doing? Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're with us on today. Conor Ben versus Richie Prograis. No need to donate, fighting again soon too. We talked about it. Conor Ben versus Prograis on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus Makhmudov is happening this year. And it looks to be, I'm being completely honest. Somebody brought this up on social media. If you go look at that fight and the rest of that card on that fight, it's a very one-sided affair for most of those names on that card, including this fight with Conor Ben and Richie Prograis. We should see Conor Ben blow Prograis out the water. It should not be a competitive fight. We should see Prograis get beat up, in my estimation, with the fall from grace that we've seen for Prograis over the course of years. And that rest of that card looks, it ain't pretty. The main event and the co-main event are the only two fights that look somewhat palatable from the standpoint of 50-50 competitive competition. Most of the other people on that card are names that either A, most of the public, even some names myself, I haven't heard of, or B, if I do know, he's fodder. It's supposed to be a one-sided type of affair. So it ain't great. But again, they're fighting. I'm not mad at them for fighting. But the competitive nature, it's a lot of knockouts in one-sided affairs are what's wanted to be done to lead into Tyson Fury fighting Makhmudov, and what is most likely going to be another, ultimately, one-sided affair to get Tyson Fury back in the good graces of the boxing world, at least in my estimation, at least in my opinion. Nonetheless, but let me keep on reading. Salute to you, and also salute to you. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. Salute to you all. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you on this Tuesday afternoon. Please go on, keep liking the video, keep sharing the stream, keep on telling people about the show. And again, if you want to support the channel, hey, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all that stuff, if you can give, would mean the world to me. Absolutely. But let me see. Also, Usyk versus the kickboxer. Verhoeven. Yeah, it got confirmed. And we're going to talk about that fight later on in the show. But real quick, as a tidbit, this fight, very bad. Very bad. Strictly because Verhoeven in kickboxing, K1 and otherwise, glory kickboxing more importantly, is one of the greatest we've seen. I've seen him fight. I've seen him on glory kickboxing before. I've seen him fight some of the other best kickboxers in the land, genuinely with an actual resume. One of the best. Yes, I'm not ever going to disrespect that because I watched him for myself. He can go. That brother, he's something different. But in boxing, no, he's nowhere close. Nowhere close. Now again, everybody gets one. And even if this was a spectacle, because like I said, Tyson Fury fought Francis Ngannou as champion. We get that. Tank was going to fight Jake Paul as champion. Spectacle fights are not anything new. The issue is the title was on the line for this one. That's the biggest problem. The title, the WBC, didn't let Tyson Fury put his same belt on the line against Francis Ngannou. Yet they're letting Usyk put this belt on the line against Verhoeven. Why? What was the purpose? If anything, if we're going to make sense of it all, shoot, Francis Ngannou is a bigger name than Verhoeven. That would have made more sense if you're going to put any fight on a legit championship opportunity where the belt actually is going to transactionally change if the opponent wins. It would have been that one, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it have made sense to be that one? Instead of this one with a fighter that is nowhere close to the competitive fervor and talent. Why is there, one, a double standard in that regard? And two, why is it even doing this in the first place? And when this shouldn't be for a title at all. If we're going this route, you should have just fought Wilder for the belt outright. It should have just been Deontay Wilder. I'll be serious. If the belt's going to be on the line, you might as well fight Deontay Wilder. If the WBC is going to let this happen, if the WBC is going to let this happen, you might as well have put stinking Wilder on the card. Let him fight for the belt. That would have been better than this from the standpoint of the spectacle now has linear weight to it. And it shouldn't, but it does. This further just doesn't help the look of the WBC at all. It's a shame. It really is a shame. It definitely is a shame. But let me see. Undercard is horrible. Again, going back to Joel's conversation, Regis is a 160, is a 600 plus underdog. Absolutely he is, because he should be. I don't think Regis Poirier is going to win that fight. I think he's going to get knocked out. He has regressed in talent every time I've seen him out there. Fury card, is it Netflix worthy? It's not. It's not. You're right. It's not. It ain't. And this is, I dare say, of all the cards that we've seen on Netflix, this is the worst out of all of them. This is the worst out of all of them. I'll be completely honest. From the perspective of quality, you can say the main event, with Jake Paul, for the vast majority of them, has been bad. Yes. But quality-wise, the undercard normally is incredible. This time, it's abysmal. It's abysmal. And it's one-sided. And I definitely didn't expect that for a fight that had Tyson Fury as the main person, as the headline. I'm shocked. Really, I am. But it's like, no, it ain't great. Let me say, this month we have Carlos Adames, Austin Williams, Gary Fundora. Yep, Gary Fundora is fighting. Arnold Barboza Jr. is back. And Michael Conlon is also fighting. It's a lot of stuff going on. And like I said, between all that, as well as potentially Devin Haney behind Garcia, Boots is now going to be forced to have to go through and fight somebody else and potentially fight Xander Zayas, because we now just got word of him. The verdict for Boots and Ortiz has now come down. And that fight ain't happening now. Like I said, we're going to touch on that later on in the show. But yeah, that fight ain't happening now if you didn't get the word, because they voted in favor of Golden Boy. But it's a lot of moving parts in these next couple months that's getting ready to happen, and we excited to see. Also, Al Booger, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in with us on the show. So happy that you're here joining us on the live. And so I can't wait to see it. Y'all talking about you might take that 600. Conor ain't like that. He might not be like that from the standpoint of uber elite, but he's better than Regis Progress. He's better than Regis Progress. I can guarantee you that he's better than Regis. So if I'm not saying you should bet, but if you're going to pick a fighter, don't pick Regis Progress for that fight. I promise you. Because in my opinion, Progress has very much de-elevated as a fighter, as a legitimate quality championship caliber proponent. Conor Benn, if he's still carrying a semblance of that power from 160 back down here, or from 168 back down here, that he did against Conor Benn, or that he did against Eubanks, Yeah, Progress, I don't think he's got a shot, but even still, that's just me. If Regis pulls off a victory performance and cleans up the defense, that'd be nice. It might be too late in the game for him. I'll be honest. For me, it might be too late in the game for me to see Progress be able to get that vintage performance off to look like something spectacular. Even if you look at his last fight, I was not thoroughly impressed with what he can do, even against the others in his own division, let alone against somebody who legit has the qualities of a championship caliber fighter that just looked some of the best he's ever looked going up against Eubanks the second time. And even in the loss to Eubanks, guess what? He still put on a fight of the year performance that was Progress in there for the first fight or the second fight. He would have lost for both of those versions of Conor Benn. This is with Conor Benn off PEDs, off drugs, and off all the hundreds of eggs that he was eating. When he used that as an excuse. So I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But either way, man, it's gonna be bad. Let me see. This card is the Alien 3 of Riyadh card so far. Yeah, no, it ain't great. It ain't great at all. I got Boots absolutely murking Zayas. It could come down. It could absolutely come down. And it could happen. It could definitely happen. It could definitely happen. Like and it's like when it's, and again, we still want to touch on a couple of things with the Ryan Garcia thing, with the Ryan Garcia talks and conversation. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff later on in even more detail. But we haven't flown with how the show's going. When it comes to, there's a lot of stuff getting ready to go down. There's a lot. I was telling y'all, in a way, Nakatani, Benavidez, Zerto, both happening on the same day, morning and night in May 2nd. Couple that with now, the talks with Devin, Haney, and Ryan Garcia potentially heating up astronomically. He got turned on hot real quick. Boots and Ortiz now having to fight other respective opponents because they can't go and fight each other. It's a whole bunch of stuff that by the time summer comes around, brother, you better start saving up. You better start, if you're going to pay money, you better start saving up or scouting out spots to watch these fights, because it's going to be a consistent flow of constant work and constant fights that are going to just be continuing to spiral. Don't forget, Rolly's gonna be. If Rolly doesn't get a fight with Devin Haney, which he won't, because he just doesn't want to fight Giasov. He's gonna have to fight Giasov. So he's probably gonna be on the undercard of another fight that will be potentially a big time type of card. Oh, and don't forget, Tank is also training again to get back in the ring, and he wants to get in the ring this summer. Tank could be back in the ring by the time all of this stuff happens in June or July, which is where we could see a lot of these other big time fights come down. There's a whole smorgasbord of absolute. It's about to be, again, Summerfest is about to be insanely hyped up with a slew of fights that I just can't wait for. I can't wait. This month from April to about November, it's about to get hot. It's about to get hot. More so that May, June, July, August, that 4-month window, it's about to get hot, man. You about to see a lot of fights get signed, most likely by the end of this month. And a lot of those fights will be scheduled around the summertime in May or June, July, late August. It's just going to be a constant barrage. And I love it. I truly do indeed love it. I can't wait to see. Let me see. Boxing, let me see. They'll still say Boots duck. He didn't. And like I said, we're about to switch gears and touch on the whole verdict with Boots and Ortiz and who exactly we should see Boots fight next. Let's see. Boxing politics is complete. It's a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire. It is indeed a dumpster fire. Conor is not a championship caliber in my opinion. We still don't know what Conor is at 147 for me. Yes, you can argue he's not elite championship caliber, but we can argue that he has fought up to that level. We can't argue that he is if you want to say that Eubanks was drained in that second fight to the point of no return, fine. But that first fight when Eubanks looked a whole lot better, we can say that he's been able to compete at a level more competitively when it comes to that more upper echelon caliber than with Prograis when he fought against somebody of that same or similar or above that ilk in that elite standpoint, like with Devin Haney. And since the fights with Devin Haney, I have not been impressed at all with the performances of Regis Prograis at all, to the point that he hasn't moved the needle. He should be one of the more talked about fighters, but he's not. At 140 or at 147, but he's not. He's gotten lost in the shuffle, not just because of other people have overshadowed him, but because he himself as a fighter has not improved and or given people something to look forward to want to go and buy into him some more. At least in my opinion, watching the public. But it can happen. It can happen. Not can't. It's going to happen. And if we do see, and I'll say this, if we do see Conor Ben struggle against Regis Prograis, that's going to be very damaging to what has been recently built up as the best time of Conor Ben's life. From downfall to redemption, revenge turning into a generational almost curse broken, with them finally beating Eubanks and getting one for his family in that whole blood feud. Cleanly, crazy enough. And this, if he loses to a fighter of the caliber of Prograis, I will be very shocked, but also incredibly disappointed. Because I'll say what the world went wrong. I will say what the world went wrong. But let me see. Love King, you're also here. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy to be here with us on today. Hopefully most of the fights play on it, but I think all the fights are going to be on Netflix for that Tyson Fury card. If they can get a deal done, I would not be surprised if we saw the potential of Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney be on Netflix. If it's not on the zone, I wouldn't be surprised. At least they'll make an attempt, because that fight would be worthwhile. That fight would be worthwhile. It absolutely would be worthwhile to see it take place. Because if it did, boy, you want to talk about eyes tuned in. It would be insane. But let me see. Zerto versus David goes to decision or late stoppage. Depends on if David can do a lot of combination punching in the late rounds, in my opinion. Zerto is durable, just really slow. Now, if he's really slow, I think that go into decision. And if that speed is that much apparent, yeah, Benavidez might just take that. Because the one thing you can't be is slow against Benavidez. Because it's not just the fact that he's so fast. It's the fact that he knows how to use his speed to capitalize on your deficiencies. But at the same breath, it's smart enough to where you won't be safe. Or rather, he'll be safe while you're still in danger. Because he's that good of an actual technical boxer. Great defensively. As well as a savant offensively. And now got the stamina to stand the test of time. Now we're gonna see how that stamina plays out at cruiserweight. Will 200 pounds be something that we see the same struggles that he had going up against what was his name? Gvozdyk, when he started to wane in the later rounds because stamina was taking its toll at that new weight class. Will that happen again at cruiserweight? We don't know. But if it doesn't, we could see Zerto lose. We could see him lose. We could see him lose legitimately, because everything you're saying is absolutely right. I will weight drain. I'll weight drain you, Tank Davis. And like, we had to throw him into this picture because it's a potential thing that can happen. Let me see, I can't wait for May 2nd because the most exciting, ferocious, I can't wait till May 2nd. The best of most excited, the most ferocious, the most I don't fear nobody fighter is fighting Dave Benavidez, a Mexican monster. Great. And it's going to be like, it's literally going to be a back-to-back of historic outcomes, regardless of whether they may be. Nakatani versus Inoue in Japan. Most likely will break records. Most likely, the fight's going to get officially announced on Friday, this Friday, in a press conference over in Japan. They're going to officially announce it, and it's going to break records. It'll probably sell out within the first 3 days. Minimum the first week, it'll sell out. And it will take over the country. It's going to be insane, man. It's going to be ridiculous. I can't wait. I really cannot wait for it at all. Let me see. Eubanks just drained. Eubanks drained in both fights. Yep, he was. Khan just fought the wrong fight in the first one before he went the distance with Pistol Pete. Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right. And again, I did have that as a, I don't want nothing, caveats the wrong word, but I did have that as kind of a barrier, because I did admit he was weight drained. Because that first fight, he even said he was weight drained. That second fight, yeah, he was bad off. It still is impressive that we saw Eubanks, or we saw Conor Ben, be able to make adjustments from that first fight. But yes, Eubanks was weight drained. He absolutely was. And as Eubanks was weight drained, and Conor Ben shouldn't have been fighting at 160. Best fight, my opinion, 154, 147, more importantly, 154, for what he is able to be as a fighter. What we're going to see at 147 is, okay, this should be around your best weight. We should see the best you, a better version of what we saw against Eubanks that you put on. We don't see that. We're going to have some issues. We will have some issues, I guarantee you. Benavidez, better be able to still murk Benavidez. I don't know. I don't know about that. Not anymore. I can't say that anymore. I cannot say that anymore. That's a great discussion, but I can't say that anymore. I was going to say, I said for about a year, Benavidez versus Beterbiev as a matchup is a fight that Benavidez, if there was any fight I would say he would lose, it would be that one. Because that type of power, with that type of durability, as well as the inside work of Benavidez, or Beterbiev, excuse me. Though Benavidez is more than happy to go to game and fight him, that might be something that even for the ability of Benavidez might be too much for him to withstand. And he could get a taste of his own medicine. However, now, I think that fight's closer to a 50-50 than I initially gave credit for. I think it's closer. Because how great Benavidez has turned into. That brother, he can more than hold his own. Against Beterbiev, he can more than hold his own. I said he would beat Bivol if he fought against him. I said that a while ago. Beterbiev was my kryptonite that I thought Benavidez would have. I can't say that anymore. I can't. Benavidez has gotten so good. He has elevated himself so much. And he's garnered power. That is, I'm not saying it is Beterbiev, but it's now within that same threshold or similar vein because he knocked out Yard. And Yard only got knocked out from the likes of Kovalev and Beterbiev. The only people that have put him down and put him out have been Kovalev and Beterbiev. And he beat Yard better than both of them and still ended the show. That last performance, with everything else he had previously built up, yeah, no, that impressed me. That impressed me. The King of Come. Let me see. I'm with you, Jean-Luc. 2 to 3 years ago, I would have picked Archer, no doubt. I feel like Benavidez will get it. Yes. I'm telling you, man. That brother, Benavidez is this. You know what? Benavidez is a bad cat. He's a bad brother. This cat, you know what he does? This is what he does.
And he floats like a butterfly and hits like a tree.
He hits that. That's exactly what he is. He floats like a butterfly and he's sticking hits like a tree. Again, that's from NBA Jam. that's somebody from NBA Jam. But it works perfectly because he can move. He can box legitimately now. The brother can scrap as we've been known. We know he can take a punch. We know he can recover quick because we got rocked by Morrell. He still came back and was able to recover. And then afterwards, this cat, now, we weren't saying he was hitting like a tree earlier. We weren't saying that earlier at 175. Now we can say that he does have that. Now we can say that now because he garnered power. Because you saw what he did to Anthony Yarde. That fight added the last vestiges of the thing that we thought, if you don't have that, you can't beat Archibald Benavidez in the style that we've seen Benavidez fight before. Now we can confidently say Benavidez can fight his style. And he may not be the same mover as Bivol, but he's smart like him. And he got the power that he can do what Bivol did and potentially do even more work because of the fact he can hold his own even better. In a way that Bivol just couldn't. Coupled with the fact that, dare I say, if we saw Bivol catch Archibald Benavidez with shots that garnered his respect, now Benavidez got power that Benavidez may just be forced to back up in a very lofty but still potential reality. Cards are on the table that we can see if that fight did take place. We could see him win. We could see him win. We could see him win, and we could see him win in a way that shocks us all. And I would have picked Benavidez, and I said it 2 years ago, a year ago, upwards of 8 months ago. Benavidez is too hard of a tax for Benavidez to fight. That's that's the one guy I can't say I can pick him against. But I'm starting to say, yeah, he can do it. I'm starting to say he can do it. But let me see. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You think, this is for somebody else in the chat. My apologies. Salute to Benny Verzotto for making the fight going to be a banger for sure. It is. And like I said, it's a whole bunch of fights, a whole bunch of conversation, a lot of stuff going down over the course of these next coming weeks and months that I just can't wait. I cannot wait at all for it. And like I said, we're gonna cover it. We're gonna cover that and so much more. We're gonna delve back into some of these topics. We do want to make sure that we keep the show going and flowing. We had some people talking about Boots and Ortiz, like with Al Booger, even in Philly. There's a bunch of Puerto Ricans in Philadelphia. There's a lot of fans that want to come out for that Zayas fight versus Jerron Boots Ennis. And now that fight may have to be the thing that takes place, because if you did not get word on Ortiz versus Boots, the official claim or the official verdict for that fight has now officially come down. I'm saying official way too much. The verdict for that fight has now been confirmed. It has now been validated. And Ortiz, and in the case of Ortiz versus Golden Boy Promotions, well, Ortiz, you may be undefeated in the ring, but buddy, you lost the case. You lost the case. I can't believe it. And I'm shocked. He lost the case. He lost the case. The judge has ruled in favor of Golden Boy Promotions in the dispute for Ortiz. And that Boots fight is highly unlikely because Ortiz cannot get out of his contract and he has to stick with the fights within Golden Boy's promotion, which means he cannot negotiate with anybody else outside of said regime, which also means the deal with Matchroom, done. The deal with any other promotion, done. And all the $20 million and all that stuff, the $16 million, all that stuff, wipe that from your mind because it can no longer happen. And the fight with Ortiz versus Boots Ennis isn't going to happen. It's not. I hate to break it to you. I'm sorry. It hurts me as much as I know it hurts you, but that fight most likely ain't going to happen potentially this year. We may have to wait, or at least as of right now, in the summer, in April, as what was wanted to be the movement for Boots Ennis, per the words of Eddie Hearn, fight in April, and he won the fight with Boots. And yep, and like Eddie Hearn had said earlier in the week, they got to pull the trigger. They got to make a decision. They got to go and find something out and make something shake. And now what's got to shake the rest of the division? There's still a lot of killers, but the biggest fight of this division now is no longer on the table at all. And we'll probably see Roberto Ortiz fight Lord knows who. There's still a lot of people here, but ain't gonna be anybody that people wanted to see from the standpoint of the most immediate competitive fight. Now we could see both Virgil and Boots fight for titles. Boots is a mandatory, or Boots has an interim belt that puts him in position for a mandatory fight, as well as, not Boots, I'm sorry, Ortiz has an interim title that puts him in a position for a championship fight, as well as Boots has been talking with fights, or rather insinuating, him and Eddie Hearn, fight with Boots and Zayas may be on the table. A potential fight with Mandrimov may be on the table. Against speculation, real quick speculation. Rumors are what I'm saying. Speculation, nothing of immediate note, of an oh my gosh type of way. Speculation, but still potentially valid speculation nonetheless. I don't want nobody coming to me saying I gave wrong information. Lord knows I ain't having that. What I am having is the understanding that this may be a blessing in disguise. Now, it sounds shocking. I know. Some of y'all looking at me right now saying, what the world? Legit. That's how some of y'all saying, whoa. How dare? How can you say that? How can you say this could be a blessing in disguise? Well, it's because of the story that could be built up. Mind you, this is the business. It's the story of this sport, more than just telling the timeline correctly. It is all of the factors that create a fight that makes people invested. Now with the oh so close yet oh so far away feeling of the public, they almost got to fight with Ortiz and Boots, and now it's not happening. Well, we've been saying we don't want to see Ortiz get a belt. This is now, you better go and get one now. And if you are successful, let's say hypothetically you get a fight with the winner of Thurman versus Fundora. You make that happen. You get a win. You get the belt. Boots then goes and fights against Zayas for unification. Next thing you know, by the end of the year or January of next year, if we're going to keep with people only fighting 2 times a year, we could see Boots, Virgil, unified, and majority of the belts on the line in what would be the biggest fight in 2027 or late 2026 this year, and potentially December. Like I said, I forget how many fights we do see Virgil Ortiz have on the card or on the contract of Golden Boy. I'm not sure about those numbers. Find out for yourself. Research for yourself. I forget how many fights he's got under said contract. But I believe by this year, it's probably going to end. If I'm right. If I'm wrong, please enlighten me. I want to know. But we could see late this year, early next year, finally, we do get that fight. But now there's more marbles on the line. It's even bigger ramifications because the ultimate goal of saying who's the baddest man at 154, we can finally get that answer in a definitive light with accolades and talent both on the line against each other. That happens. As big as we're talking about with Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, this fight could get maybe not as big, but guaranteed to be within that vicinity. It could be there within that vicinity. It could at least be as big as Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez. And that was huge. Massive. Again, reportedly 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. And guaranteed money is going to be through the roof. I would lament that this is happening. And I do lament that this is happening. Because I wanted to see the fight. Doggone it, I did. Oh, Lord, I did. But I'm going to tell you something right now. In the greater landscape of picture, I promise you, there is a silver lining to this that could lead to a better, more exciting affair later on. It could. We still wanted to fight now. But sometimes patience may be a virtue. And because this time, it's not the fighter's fault. Both Ortiz and Boots, they wanted this fight. They didn't duck each other. But as somebody said in the chat, boxing politics got in the way. It did. And again, Oscar De La Hoya does not trust Virgil Ortiz to be able to win against Boots. He doesn't. That's why this fight's not. Let's keep it a bean. That's why this fight's not happening. That's why this case went to court. That's why he meddled in negotiations in the first place. That is why all of this drama even came about, because Ortiz wanted to fight. And he wanted to fight. And Golden Boy just let it go. Or rather, Golden Boy stepped in the way. Let me see. Then why was Virgil talking about Errol in his dream fight, and has options, right? He does have options, and he was talking about Errol Spence, and we did lament that. Absolutely. However, since him saying that, you saw him doing emergency arbitrations. You saw him trying to give the court urgency to say, hey, this exposes why I should not be signed under this contract, so I can make this fight ultimately with these other promotions that has Boots as a guaranteed fight in mind. We understand, and I've guaranteed, we heard it on this show, I was very stringent against Virgil Ortiz for talking like he talked when he was bringing up Errol Spence Jr. I hated it because you didn't have no business bringing him up. There's no reason why. I don't care if that's your dream fight or not. That's not what your focus should be. When somebody met you across the ring and said they want to fight and you said yes, that's not what you should be doing. However, since that statement, we were seeing him go and make it a point. I want to make this fight happen. When Oscars tried to give an ultimatum, his manager said, and Virgil said, hey, no, that's not the case. We want to make the fight. Don't try to shut down talks before we continue going. Then the suing. I want out of my contract because you're about to stop this fight from happening, and we want to make sure we make it happen. Now, in court, we're trying to do everything in its power to show the court, hey, this stuff is expired. Contract should be up. We should be out of here so we can go and make this fight. Because we do want to. The whole reason why all these other deals are in place is because the guaranteed Boots is going to be one of those deals. And we want to get away from Golden Boy so we can't actually make this fight happen. At least following the track records of the seed, not even the seeds, the straight up events. I can't say that Virgil ducked in this regard. I can't. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again now. Since that statement, Virgil showed he does want to fight. His team is fine with fighting Boots. It is Golden Boy, and more importantly, Oscar De La Hoya, that does not want this fight to happen. He doesn't. And he wants to keep on having one of the biggest stars in his stable still be a star without a blemish on his resume, without the rustic shine going away. Guaranteed. I guarantee. Man, but don't worry, it probably ain't gonna last long. From the standpoint of he'll be there for however long it goes through, and then the second his contract is up, watch, he'll be out of there. And I guarantee you that fight will be made quick and in a hurry. If everything keeps on going and everybody keeps on winning, second his actual tenure with that contract is up, yeah, that fight will indeed go off without hey, so let me see. Did you see the rumors about Brock saying he wants to fight Brook? Who? I didn't see those rumors. Brook, you talking about Kell Brook? Kell Brook wants to fight. You might, am I reading that correctly? I hope I'm not reading that correctly. I thought that brother had retired years ago. I'm surprised. I didn't think he was actually going to be fighting again. I didn't think Kell Brook was still fighting. If we're talking about Kell Brook. If we're not, different Brook, and I'm not sure. But if that is the case, and oh my, it could be next. Let me see. Now was no trouble in paradise on Virgil's side until Boots got in his face. Now he wants $10 million suing to get out of his contract. And like I said, I feel like he's not ducking since we've seen the court case. But if you feel, I'm not going to fight you. If it does turn out to all of a sudden, you know what? Better yet, we're going to find out. If this drama, if these two cross paths again, which I guarantee they will, and this same stuff happens again where we see Virgil moving like Vola Romero now, trying to get out of his mandatory, and we see him still talking, not about wanting Boots, but about going through and other fighters from the standpoint of when Boots is back in front of you as your main op and you still want to stick around, will we read the conversation? Absolutely. I just feel that we're going to see him commit like we saw him trying to commit in court to get out to make this deal. And plus the $10 million, you just got to understand, this is a $10 million fight. That isn't something that is out the question for the standpoint of the amount of people that, the amount of notoriety around the fight, the amount of hype around the fight, the names involved in said fight, literally two of the biggest names right now in the division. Virgil, who was seen as the talent-wise best in that division, and Boots, who have been crowned by most people as the next best dude in boxing from the standpoint of he's going to be the guy that takes over the sport. From ESPN to top rank to everybody under the sun, everybody sees Boots as, oh my gosh, he is the marketable cow the marketable cash cow, that everybody's going to witness blossom into another budding star. Roy Jones 2.0 is what some people are saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's got some characteristics, but he ain't nowhere close to Roy. But I'm saying that equivalent is what some people are putting him on. Hence why that fight is seen as, hey, that's worth, it's like that. Plus, he's making about $3 or $4 million for the rest of the contract, I think, with Golden Boy, if I remember correctly. But still, I get it. I understand the value of the fight because it is worth the value. But we just got to make it happen, and Lord knows, I hope it does, because I don't want to miss that out. Absolutely. Virgil had never fought for a title, smoke and mirrors, and he had. And guess what? Now, he better. He got a mandatory. You can't fight Boots. Fine. You make an effort. Like I said, make some noise. Make some noise. If you really want to show, and shut up all this rhetoric about what you are and aren't as a wanting, a scrapping type of fighter. Make some noise. Get in the face of Fundora Thurman. Go call out Josh Kelly. Fight and beat Josh Kelly. Get a belt. And make it so, okay, yeah, I got a championship, I got something to prove, and I got something to defend, and I still want Boots. Boots, if you want a belt, come up here. Get a belt of your own and come up here. We can make it a unification. Make it happen. But now the window's open now. And it should be. You get mandated as a mandatory, and then you also campaign to make these fights. Because yes, that was one of the biggest gripes. You have never been a champion before. Though your talent looks like what your talent is, and you're 27-0. 24-0, whatever the record is. Now is a great opportunity to go and make the fights happen. You should, absolutely. Let me see. Pat's Nation, what's going on with you? How you doing? Great to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let's go. Let's get a Boots versus Fundora. I wouldn't be mad at that in terms of a next matchup. I think it's going to be Virgil versus Fundora if we see Fundora win. And then Boots versus Xander Zayas, with Xander Zayas beating a boss. Boots and Zayas for unification, or taking for both of Zayas' belts in a unification fight is what Boots would have an opportunity for. The winner of Fundora versus Thurman, which I think is going to be Fundora, would then get a fight with Virgil Ortiz for his belt. And now you all can clash against each other later on in the year, potentially for a mega fight that will be even bigger because it's got belts attached to it. Let me see, Berlanga versus you. Ooh, at 160. No, I didn't think of that. Berlanga versus Eubanks at 168. That's not a bad fight. Hey, look, hey now. That ain't bad. That's not bad at all. As a fight, Berlanga needs to come back fight. Eubanks needs to come back fight. Both of them coming up with losses. Both of them got knocked down and or knocked out. Berlanga can talk, fight, and sell. Eubanks can talk, fight, and sell. And matchup wise, it's not bad. That ain't bad. I actually would be a fan of that fight. I would be a fan of that fight. I would be a fan. I never thought of that fight. Now, granted, it's because I never thought of Berlanga in my mind because Berlanga was kind of out of sight, out of mind since that loss to Hamzat Shiraz. But if you want to put him back in the picture, give him a chance for a big fight and hopefully to redeem himself. And Eubanks to make a splash at 168 because he said before he wants to fight Canelo as well and he wants to get back in the mix of championship opportunities. Might be a fight that makes sense. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it at all. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so you were talking about Kell Brook. Assault on box trick. I had not seen that. I don't know if that's going to be real. I mean, we got Carl Froch calling people out still to this day. No, again, he's significantly older than Kell Brook. I don't think we'll see him come back. If he does, I'll be shocked. And I'll put it as a possibility. But I gotta see it to believe it. I gotta see that to believe that. I gotta see that to believe it. Because if I don't see that, it could be dangerous. Edgar versus Eubank would be good. I would take Chris at 168. I would as well. Now Berlanga's got the pop to knock him out. I'll say that for real. Berlanga's got the pop to be able to knock him out. And he might have the durability to take more punches than we may realize. Because Eubanks is not the puncher that we saw Shiraz or even Canelo be. That's just the fact of the matter. However, skill-wise, yeah, when Eubanks is fully healthy, without being drained asunder, Eubanks is better. He's better. He's a better fighter. He's a better fighter, smarter fighter, more well-rounded, has more tools in his tool belt, is better defensively. He hasn't faced as high of a caliber of talent as Berlanga, though. Or, excuse me, he hasn't faced as high of a talent comparatively as Berlanga has faced when Berlanga fought against Canelo. You can argue Berlanga has had a higher ceiling of experience when going against dangerous people because of the names that he fought against, Canelo and Shiraz. However, it doesn't change. The better fighter is Eubanks Jr. It is. No question in my mind. It's Eubanks. It's Eubanks outright. And so, but let me see, not to be a dead horse, but remember, Virgil didn't even sell out in Texas in his last fight. Not sure. He's a star. Everybody says he is. He is. He's not on the same stardom as others around the world of boxing. We understand. He is a star. I can't have that level of disrespect go unabated. From the standpoint of Virgil is a star. For real. That's what fights that Fundora didn't even sell out in his building up to become a champion. But we were saying that Fundora could be something special. This fight with Boots would sell out. We can say that, yeah, Boots is the bigger name. Absolutely. And Virgil isn't as big of a star, but he is a star in his own right. And we understand completely that that fight combination would go and make people want to care. It would. It takes two to tango. Well, I'm not trying to diminish or undermine the stardom of Virgil Ortiz or just over bloviate about what we see with Boots Ennis, but that's also where we're at right now. That is where we're at. Like, it's the truth. Not trying to diss Virgil. He's a star, and I like him. He's a superstar, but he is, absolutely is. And this. If I'm, and again, personal preference. If I'm Virgil Ortiz now, though I'm under the iron fist of Oscar De La Hoya that I don't want to be under as a part of my promotional partner, if I'm going to if I do want to get that star-laden fight with Boots, I'm going to go and put in the work to make my name get into the same vicinity of sellability and star power, as in championships. And I'm taking on, now that I'm at this stage in my career, it's time for me to go and reign as more than just a talent when it comes to who's the best in this division. I need these belts. Regardless of what happens, I need these belts from here on out if I want to ensure that the next time this fight with Boots comes around, there's nothing that's not just going to hold me back, but I got enough to bring to the table that can make it so that, one, everybody trusts me to actually want to take the fight and win the fight, and two, I can bring the portion of money that will be too big that you won't want to nix this fight happening, no matter who I'm under. And to also ensure that whatever, if I do get another deal with another promotion after this contract we're going to work expires, I get a bigger share of the pot. More than just, I think, the 3 to 4 million that I'm getting for De La Hoya right now. Reportedly, allegedly. So this is as important as it is. Now we can say, hey, we'll make that fight later on. We still want to make it happen. Go and keep on winning. It's just as important. Go and make sure that you make a move that positions you so that you become, again, further undeniable. Because it's a shame to say, but this is what power does for you. Get you opportunities that you either A, wouldn't get, or force yourself into opportunities that you want in spite of what everybody else wants to say. And right now, Virgil, because of his star power, which is a star power, it's not up to this caliber. Doesn't have that yet. He can get it though after this. But put in the work after. You have to put in the work after. Any fighter in this position cannot go and slide down the ladder of competition when you were almost at a mega fight. You want to make that mega fight still relevant. So you want to fight somebody that is indeed in that good to great threshold in your division. To make a statement, to put on a highlight, to get people seeing he did this against somebody who's legit, a dog, or a good fighter. Now, everybody circles back to the only competition is Boots Innocent. And afterwards, call him out. Call out De La Hoya and say, hey, the reason why this fight ain't happening, if you want to put the blame on him, put the blame on him in public. You already lost the court case. Now it's time to use image to your advantage. Say, hey, the next fight I win, especially if it's a world title, hey, I got a championship. Thank y'all for helping me, supporting me. Next fight I want is Boots Innocent, absolutely. But this man to my left ain't making it happen. Y'all want this fight to happen, y'all talk to him. Because he is the only stopgap. Put him in the hot seat. Put him in the spotlight. Make it known that he is the man that is holding this type of cachet in the balance, if that's the direction you want to do, to put pressure on the only person at this point in time that can allow you to sign a fight in the first place. Which is not fair, but he's under contract, at least per court rulings. And so you got to win. You got to win dominant. You got to fight people that are still relevant. And at 154, that ain't hard to find. Because there's a lot of people that are dogs. Again, if I'm Virgil Ortiz, I'm fighting Josh Kelly. If I'm Virgil Ortiz, I'm fighting Josh Kelly or the winner of Fundora versus Thurman. Straight up. And I'm putting on a statement just like I put on with Erickson Lupin. Knocking him out, potentially in 5 rounds. Getting the job done. Getting a belt around my waist and shutting up the one excuse that everybody holds about me, that you ain't a champion. You can't call the shots like you want to. Well, now I got the belt. What you gonna do now? If I'm Virgil, that's what I'm looking to do. But either way, As time goes on, we will indeed have a chance to more in depth talk about the future. But to end off the segment, Boots should fight Xander Zayas. Most likely will fight Xander Zayas for the belts unification in April. Most likely we can see that happen. And on Ortiz's end, Virgil Ortiz should fight Josh Kelly or the winner of Thurman versus Fundora. Get a belt. Do the thing that you have been criticized about now that you have the time. And when you do that, it might make life a little bit easier to get the fight so you actually do one. It could. But you got to get it done. That, in my opinion, that would be the best avenue for my success and tenure of boxing. Also, real quick, actually, I think we might be able to go through and start the championship rounds a little bit earlier in the segment. But before we do, there was something I wanted to say involving the but hold on, let me see real quick before I go to the next segment. I don't like that fight at all for Xander, but suit to him if he does take the fight. I'll definitely try to be in the middle for that one. Hey man, look, if you were able to get there, great, no problem. Hey, I applaud you if you can make that fight. It is, and look, I'm with you. If Xander fights Boots, it's gonna be bad. I'll be the first to say it's gonna be bad if Xander fights Boots in this. Xander most likely is going to lose. And this ain't me saying this because I'm trying to hate. We're looking at the caliber of skill set, talent, and what you can do. Even with Zayas being the bigger fighter, from the standpoint of being longer and taller, that's going to be a tough out for the likes of Xander to be able to go and overcome. That's going to be hard. That's going to be incredibly hard. And I don't know if he's got the skills currently to fight Boots. I have said Xander Zayas needs to stay away from Boots Ennis. Don't even sniff getting in the ring with him up until later on in your career, because you don't have that skill set right now. But because of this whole situation with Ortiz and Boots and that fight not happening, this is why I said, as a champion, you got to fight all comers that come your way. Because even if we say that you're not ready for a fight, you have the belt. And if somebody comes through and says, I'm coming after you, kind of got to take it. Not even kind of, you got to take it. And if you duck, you're seen as, oh, it's a scared champion. And there's going to be a lot of killers that if you get the belt, you're going to be in a world of trouble potentially against certain matchups. And a lot of matchups, especially if you ain't prepared for. And right now, the spotlight is shifting from Ortiz and Boots. And it's all on you, Fundora, Thurman, and Kelly. And of those other names, Josh Kelly being the least valued from the standpoint of marketability, monetarily getting money. And he can box as well. For the public or for the boxer business, risk reward may not be worth it. Though I think both of them could beat Josh Kelly. Zayas has enough of a following, has enough of a fan base, has enough of a foundation of appeal, and got belts. And most people feel you're better than him in nearly every way. You could go and beat him and get the belts with the cachet of that win. The risk reward would be worth it. So everybody's starting to hone in on, hey man, you as a telescope, you may be the guy. And we're going to be gunning for you, so you be careful. Because this is what you gave, this is what you came into. And now, this reality may just happen. If it does, boy, it's gonna be something serious. Let me see. Isn't Zayas like 23 years old or something like that? Why fight Boots now? Zayas was the youngest champion of boxing. Abdullah Mason took that title when he won against Sam Noakes and became a champion at 135. But Zayas is 23. He is the youngest champion we have the second youngest champion, that we have in boxing today, and previously held that title. I understand. He should not fight Boots right now. But Boots could care less. As could the rest of the people in that team. As could Eddie Hearn. Because you're worth it. You're worth it. And this would also be the biggest fight in Xander Zayas' career. Be clear. This would be the biggest payday in Xander Zayas' career. And my gosh, he's young enough that he can go through, lose, and come back and still become a champion 2 or 3 more times in just this division alone. As his skill set progresses, as his body matures, and as his knowledge of the game gets better. He can grow from this loss without being the last time we get him in this position. Because he's already won 2 belts before him. So, assessment-wise, they could be saying, hey, it's a big risk. But my gosh, you can recover. So, might as well take it and see what happens. Potential. I'm not saying that's what's outright being talked about. I'm saying potentially that's what we could be seeing as a point of emphasis of why, when you ask what is the logic of this fight happening, there's a lot more logic than you may think from the perspective that people are seeing Zayas as a young champion who can still grow. And Boots as a person who needs a championship to fully come into his own as a fighter. What will be what some may call a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. As what some people may be trying to make light of. Because, again, Zayas can bounce back. And if Zayas wins, my gosh, my goodness, if Zayas wins that fight, I mean, great day in the morning. Brother, we're going to be talking about you as probably the best in this division. If that's the case. And that would be a win that would bolster you up immensely, with you being only 23 years old. So, as much as it may seem like a bad idea, and it is a bad idea if you're Zayas to fight Boots, it may be for all intents and purposes. It might make sense. It might make sense. Because be clear, this isn't like other divisions in the world of boxing. There's no easy out at 154. At super welterweight, there's no easy out when it comes to fighting in any of these places. None of them. Every single fight is a scary road. It's every single fight is murderer's row. Every single fight is a back alley. Well, you don't know what can pop out in front of you and take you out. This is 154 as it stands right now. It's the most vulnerable division in boxing because there's not a soul here who doesn't have somebody across the ring or across the rankings that could go and beat them. Whether it's 1 person, 2 people, 10 people, don't matter. That entire top 10 is incredibly competitive. Shoot, within the top 15 is still competitive. With people coming into said division. There's a lot that's at stake for a lot of people. But there's no running away from an easy fight. So you can't really ask, why should I, or why would you want to fight him now? Well, where else do you want me to go? You want me to fight Bochuk next? You want me to fight Fundora? Dare I say, if Thurman looks good, you want me to fight Keith Thurman? Do you want me to fight Ortiz? We could see Ortiz go and try to fight Zayas as well, if we don't want to fight Boots. Madrimov is a tough out for anybody, and we just saw him reinvent his style to become a more flat-footed but still elusive fighter, similar to Arizona Lara, sitting down on the shots a little bit more, utilizing that physical power a little bit more. We see this and we understand this man is in danger regardless of where he goes. Adams beat Bochuk. You can't even say that you fight Adams, it's going to be an easy fight. Spence. L. Spence is back at 154. Lord knows if he looks good, you can't fight him and say it's going to be an easy out. Jermell Charlo, we can say that we don't trust him at all. And I don't trust him as much as I can tell apart him and his brother. And I can't tell them apart. So I don't trust him with a 10-foot pole from the standpoint of being able to be great inside the ring. But if he is great inside the ring, guess what? That's still a threat. That's still a hard man to beat. There's no easy out. There's no escaping any test. So you might as well go and say, well, of all these names, I can't get a bigger fight. I can't get a better talent. And the risk of if I win or lose is able to be recovered. And there's no really anybody else that I can go through and really have a better time with from the perspective of it's not a threat. Might as well go and take them on and see what happens. And if I lose, I learn and I come back. That's the best. That's the easiest thing I can think of from the perspective of thinking about why a fight with Boots and Zayas, though he's young, could just happen with this fight with Ortiz and Boots now being completely cut off because the court ruled in favor of Golden Boy to go and not allow Boots to sign with any other promotions to make the fight with, or not allow Ortiz, to sign with any other promotions to fight with Boots Ennis. And so that, at least that's my thing. But let me see. Dale Anderson, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here. We are so happy that you're here with us on today. People can say what they want about Ryan, but at least he's willing to fight Devin and or Shakur, other than those four champions not fighting each other because they're black brothers. And let me see, do you think it's a good idea for anyone to move up to 126? I asked that because I asked because their people don't think so. Oh, I asked because their people don't think so. Just maybe people that are fans of his. Let's address the first comment first and foremost. Ryan Garcia. Which again, we let up the show with Ryan Garcia in the Haney rematch. The back and forth over social media. The talks over which we were seeing with Ryan Garcia. Since he's saying, I'm gonna end your career. I'm gonna put you on an IV. Next time you wake up, you're gonna be in a hospital. Devin Haney saying, if we get VADA testing done, we gonna make it happen. Ryan Garcia saying, bet I'm willing to do it. It can start today if we needs to. And then Ryan Garcia putting out a recent tweet. Where's that? As per social media, I want to make it clear, I will do that fight next if we can figure it out. Point blank period. Hashtag Garcia Haney 2. And quoting the other quote, as again, we gonna bring it up and talk about. Also, Julius, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. What's up with you? Thank you for tuning in. We're so happy that you're here. And we're revisiting the conversation with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And as I read this longer version of the tweet he put out, Devin clearly letting his fear get to him. He's delusional. In what world does he think he has any say? In his heart, he knows he lost the fight because I'm the better fighter. He can't get himself to be truthful to himself about that fight. Probably won't because he's an expletive. It's the perfect time to use a buzzer. Oh, I can finally do it. He probably won't because he's a... Oh, yeah, I can finally do it now. Yeah. I've been waiting to use that button for who knows how long. He can't get himself... He can't be truthful with himself, about our fight. Probably won't happen because he's a... That's so much fun. And there's no other excuse. If you are so sure you would have won, you would take the fight. You won't because you're a simple. Knocked you down 3 times. Next time you get dropped, you'll wake up connected to an IV and doctors monitoring you. So like I said, we read this because it's heating up in terms of conversations involving this fight with Haney and Ryan Garcia. And Dale Henderson brought up a great point in reference to people can say what they want about Ryan but he's at least trying to fight, unlike the other people. And like in referencing with Shakur not wanting to fight Keyshawn Davis and other fighters not wanting to fight each other because of bonds, whether friendships or otherwise. Now, The friendship thing, in terms of the blood bond, or rather the almost like blood bond with the brotherhood that Keyshawn and Shakur have had, I've spoken on that before. I've said why I can understand why it's happening, but wish they would actually fight. Because even Jarrell Miller and John and Andy Ruiz fought against each other, and they're great friends with each other. Even though Jarrell Miller was crying when he said he didn't want to fight because like he didn't want to hurt somebody he cared about. So I understand that from that perspective. At the same breath, on the other end of the docket, Ali fought Jimmy Young, and they were great friends. They stayed friends after the fight. And so like there's an argument for both sides as to why they should be fighting each other. But the one thing about Ryan Garcia, again, that's the main course of conversation. Garcia does not duck anybody. Devin Haney hasn't either. We can say that for both of them. Because of that fact, Devin Haney has, at this point in time, I dare say the ball is in his court to make this happen. Because Ryan's given every indication that he doesn't want to make the fight. And we have been saying, we want, if this was right, or rather, if what was done against Devin Haney by Ryan was in fact because Osprey, we want to see Devin Haney prove it. We want to see him do what Miguel Cotto did. Get back, get his revenge, and beat him. Do what Ali did when he fought against Sonny Liston the second time. First fight, even though he won the first fight, they put stuff on Liston's gloves to blind him, and he still won, but he got cheated, or he was cheated in that fight. Second fight, knocks him out with a phantom punch. One of the most iconic shots we've seen in boxing history. Both in punches and in a picture. And he got his revenge. We want to see that transpire with you. But you also got to be willing to say, yeah, I'm getting in the ring to do it. And crazy enough, it looks like people are looking at Devin Haney and saying, what you going to do? Because this is the fight that we want, and it's a fight to get your redemption back. Get it back in blood. We didn't like it when you sued. We didn't like it when you went over all this other stuff. We didn't like it that you drew that from other people's perspective. You drew out this whole conversation involving the fight with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. To the point that people got annoyed. Now we want to see you get it back in blood since you say that you're the better fighter. Prove it and do justice by your own hands. We say you got pop. We say you got power now at 147. We say to you that this is the best you looked since that fight with Ryan Garcia. Off of the abysmal performance against the likes of Jose Ramirez. So now make it right. We're behind you from the perspective of fans who feel like you got done wrong. Go and prove, yeah, it was a fluke. But don't mess around. Don't mess around with this now. And apparently with Devin Haney, he's not, because I think he went up and called him out as well on the Ring Magazine's podcast. I'm going to play that clip in a little bit. But let me see. Bud Crawford, how you doing? No, wrong button. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Bud Crawford, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So happy. What do you do, brother? I'm here to grace the stream with your presence. Well, look, we're glad that you're here. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the stream. We love the conversation. We love the discourse. We want to hear from you in any regards of boxing and beyond. And please leave a like on the stream. Keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions. And hey, if you want to support the channel, real quick, shameless plug, Cash App, PayPal, links down below, as well as super chats and super gifts, stickers, and all the like. If you can't support the channel, we can't do this without viewers like you. You all make it possible, so we appreciate you so much. No question about it. But let me see. Imagine that, and this is coming from Al Buga, a drug cheat, undisciplined, weight blowing guy is trash talking the one-time undisputed multi-division undisputed champ. Yeah, man, this is what makes the rivalry so great. There's plenty of people that called out Floyd, and they will know where it's accomplished. Devin, but this has turned into a really, it's at this point, it's a blood feud. Let's be real. This is the closest we've gotten to this much of a, since Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. This is as much of a blood feud as we've had in boxing over the course of multiple fights, where there is just absolutely, forget love lost. It's nothing but hate and it's nothing but hate and despair between two fighters that just do not they want everything to do with each other from the perspective of, I want to shut you up for good. Again, Ryan's talking about ending your career. Ryan's talking about going through it and making it so you never fight again. That ain't in this boxing. Understanding the landscape of boxing. You don't say stuff like that lightly. Because you understand, especially in this sport, one punch can end a life, let alone career. Petro Colon could say that about you. The 4 fighters that sadly passed away in, I believe it was 2024, can say that. Should we have fighter, I think, died last year. You don't say you ain't somebody, you don't say that lightly. Because you understand it can happen. There's no love. It is the very type of feud that people in the boxing world have wanted for a long time. This type of story-driven, multi-year, multi-layered type of feud, type of rivalry. You're attached at the hip in the amateurs. You're attached at the hip in the professionals. You finally fight each other, and one gets the upper hand, but they cheated. Now you want to see him get it back, and now it's like, hey, this ain't what you did to me last time was wrong. Let me get my revenge. You ain't gonna get your revenge. Cause I ain't gonna pop this time. It's gonna be the same result. Everything is so like you couldn't. This is like a movie. This type of film, it's like a movie. And so so like as much we can say who should be talking about who should be disrespecting who, but I can tell you this right now, boy. You couldn't write this better. You couldn't. And if it does get made, oh gosh. Oh Lord. Oh my goodness. It'll be, that's what it'll sound like. It'll be incredible. I can't wait for it. I legit, I hope that fight gets made this week. Just because. Because it's always going to be so incredible. It's going to be so phenomenal. Let me see. If Mayweather broke, he has to sue Al Heyman. Why not come out of retirement and fight me? Hey, you know what? That actually leads us perfectly into the world of the championship rounds, because we were going to talk about Floyd and a bunch of other things. Because I think I've had to recoup my appeal about what's going down when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. I had to recoup. Because I got some different things I need to say now about this. But let me see. But we're going to transition into championship rounds after I read these chats from Julius, and we're going to again delve into Floyd and so much more on the show. No question about it. Let me see. But Julius, let me see what you got to say. Is Bill Haney and Floyd Mayweather cool after their last fallout? If so, Ryan might be in trouble due to the help of Floyd. He might. I don't know if they're cool. I can't remember if they've re-intuned with each other or reconciled. I can't say for sure. I'm not exactly sure. I want to say no, more so because Floyd's got his own stuff he's got to prepare for. And if that fight happens this year, I doubt. Hold on. What happened? I'm sorry. I thought something. Did he? Is he? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, if I'm late to the party, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm learning this sport. As much as I know what I know, I'm still learning about some of the history. Is Arturo Gatti already dead? Or did he just die? If I'm ignorant, I do apologize. I know this may sound like a dumb question. Hold on. Let me make sure. Is he? Okay, excuse me. He already died. My apologies. Already dead. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm still learning about the history of the sport as much as I am going through, and as much as knowledgeable as you may see me as now. Trust me, I'm still new to this. I'm still trying to learn a lot of stuff that went on. And so, my gosh. So wait a minute. So he died years ago. Died in 2009. Okay, I just looked it up. Died in 2009. His wife killed. What? Excuse me? His wife killed him? What the world? Oh my gosh. What? And his son just died? Wait a minute. Hold up. I'm not trying to make this turn into like a sad event. I didn't. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wait, is this true? Wait a second. Good gosh, he died last year. What the world? Oh my gosh. At 17? Yo. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hold up. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I was not familiar. I thought Arturo Gotti was still living. I did not know he had died. And I did not know that his son just passed away last year. That's heartbreaking. Let alone the history behind Arturo Gotti's death. Good gosh. I'll look it up later on. I'm not trying to turn this into a terrible situation, but my gosh. I didn't know. I'm learning. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm only 27. I've done a lot, and I also don't know a lot. So I'll be the first to say. I'm like, look, other people, they got 40 years, 30 years. They've been watching something today where a teenager. I'm new getting into this. From the standpoint of trying to quickly understand history as well as watch the current point in time. And so I did not know that. And that is heartbreaking. I do apologize. I do apologize for my ignorance. I just, shoot, man. That's, wow. Man, and his son. I apologize for kind of the shock. That's heartbreaking. I send prayers out to his family. Especially on their son's loss. I did not know. I didn't know that is, man, that's hard. That's really hard, man. That is really, really hard. And so and you're right. I'm talking about both because I didn't hear about his son, and I didn't know that the dad had died. So I'm kind of getting all this at once, but I do apologize again for my ignorance on that regard. Again, prayers out to his family, the Gotti family as a whole, and the lineage and legacy that they have left behind. It is a tragedy, but their lineage will indeed, from the standpoint of the legacy that they left behind, the fights and the family name, it will live on in history forever. And so we do give credit to that. And rest in peace to both of them. Sadly, rest in peace to both of them. Man, that good gosh, that is a tough transition. I'm gonna learn more about that case and look it up after the show. I don't want to go and mess up with the flow of what we got going on. But yeah, I'm a look. I did not know about that. So I'm gonna look that up absolutely in regards to that whole thing. And so let me see, Jerry, how you doing? And look, I understand that been dead, and like I said, I'm new. From the standpoint of history, I'm learning a lot. Though I've garnered a lot of information, I'm still new to there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. I've said that when I started this channel. I love the sport. I love sports as a whole. I love boxing, basketball, all this stuff. I can keep up with it, absolutely. But history-wise, I am still working to learn as much as I can so that I can play catch-up with all these other greats. And because I love learning. And also, there's stuff about the sport I don't know. There's lots about the sport I don't know. As much as I try to educate, I'm learning in my own right. That's why y'all are here, because y'all are helping me put pieces together in this timeline of the sport that I had no clue about. It's great. And so I do appreciate it. I'm as transparent as possible when it comes to doing this show, because I know what I know, and I know what I don't. And if I don't know what I don't know, that's why I have you all here. And I have no problem learning. Be clear. I have no problem learning or being corrected. Because it's not about being right just from the standpoint of, oh, I know everything. It's about being right from the standpoint that I can tell you all history and tell you all opinions and or news backed in fact. And so if I didn't do that, I'd be a fraud. Because I'd be talking out the wazoo without no real basis, no real foundational knowledge. And that's why this show is so great, because it gives me a chance to really learn, but good and bad. Sadly, even with tragic events like that, allows me to learn to add more to the catalog of, okay, this is the stuff that went down. And so it's like, and this, and be perfect. It's a nice, we're about to transition into the championship rounds. Don't worry. Give about 2 minutes. But it's a good point of emphasis to show that on this community, we try not to gatekeep from the standpoint of knowledge and intellect. If you don't know something, you're welcome here. If you know everything, you're also welcome here. Because there's a lot of people here, they may be new to the sport, they may be just trying to be entertained, and you never know where or who somebody's knowledge level's at. And so we don't try, or at least on this community, we don't try to downplay or throw shots at people due to ignorance or even just lack of knowledge because they just didn't know, because they never heard of it. There's a bunch of people that, imagine, like if I brought up the name Napoleon Loche, there's about half the audience that maybe have never heard of him before. Even though he was one of the greatest defensive fighters we've had in history. But we take this opportunity to help teach you about him. Teach you about what he was doing. Teach you about what he made his career so great. 120 plus wins and like 10 losses. Reigning as champion multiple times. It's all about being able to help edify the people and edify myself. And so I'm as much of a sponge to you all as hopefully you all are to me. Because there's always something that we didn't know about that gives us a chance to put together or have a better basis to enjoy the sport, to not take it for granted. That's why, again, just the fact of Arturo Gatti son, now that I've learned, builds upon the fact that what I've been saying for years, hey, this is why this sport, boxing, is unforgiving, both in and outside of the ring. This is why I take it so serious. This is what this kind of help bleeds into the whole notion of Ryan Garcia saying what he said to Devin Haney is not just regular talk. Because again, sadly, we just saw Arturo Gatti's son die at 17. Not even getting into the elite level of danger from the standpoint of people that got tools to kill that were refined and sharp like a knife. And sadly, he passed away. And as Al Booker was putting up, 14 about 17 people die every year, just about. And George's like, actually, no, what was the stat that you put up, Al Booker? Yeah, I'm sorry, 15 to 20 die in this sport every year. So you saying you're going to end somebody's career in this sport? This ain't like, and again, I love wrestling. This ain't like when Shawn Michaels put his career on the line against The Undertaker. This isn't even like when Roman Reigns, with what he said to CM Punk this yesterday on Raw, I'm going to end your career, I'm going to retire you. Or CM Punk saying, I'm going to retire you and I'm going to bury you and you ain't going to be alone because I'm going to put you on the same plot of land as your dad. It ain't like that. This is like, from the standpoint of, I love wrestling, but it is scripted, but I love it. This ain't that type of storyline. This is real animosity. This is organically, I want you gone. Shut up, brother, let's die. Or rather, excuse me, I hate you, let's die. Y'all have heard that meme. Y'all seen that meme before. Y'all seen that meme going around social media. I hate you, let's die. The ultimate, like, I don't care what happens to me or you. One of us is going to go. And so, take it outside. I don't care what happens. I hate you that much that if that's a sacrifice, that's a sacrifice. We got to end this. That's where we at with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. From a blood-laden feud, a blood-boiling feud. And with this knowledge of, again, how common and how severe this sport can go and end life and or alter it abruptly. But this is not a normal type of feud, man. This is aggression beyond reproach. This is a blind fury that both of them got for each other. And I'm not trying to make light of the death. I'm trying to transition into the original topic of conversation with why this rivalry is such a intriguing, but such a visceral type of thing. Beyond just the whole outrage of Austrian. Shoot, even mind you, even with the Austrian situation, but Ryan Garcia off of Austrian, any sort of supplements could have been enough to tip over the scale. That one wrong punch could have been enough to kill him. The reason why substances are so looked down upon is because we are looking at a sport where you are already putting your life on the line. You don't want to be at an unfair disadvantage against somebody else that has a better odds to change your life for the worse with a single shot, because they're either A, bigger than what they should be inside the ring, or B, taking something to enhance them when you have nothing but what you got. Ultimate disrespect. And so it's like, it's a shame. It's a shame. But it bleeds into the revenge storyline. The get it back in blood storyline. And that's why this is going to be the biggest fight in sport. I'm telling you, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Major. It's going to be major. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it, absolutely. Let me see. Let me see what people have to say on the sports world, because I do want to make sure we keep it going. I do want to make sure that we keep the show going, and so that we are able to again. It's a hard jump. I will say that it's a hard leap trying to transition, but even still, we're gonna transition on, and we're gonna go into the World Championship rounds right here, right now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the championship rounds. Your voice, your perspective, your conversation, your questions, your comments, your concerns, your debate on everything involving the world of sports and beyond, boxing, NBA, NFL, or whatever other interest you have. We want to hear from you. 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to probably go till 2 hours, 30 minutes on this stream, and then we're going to wrap it up and send it home, or roughly around that frame. Within that time, you all can ask whatever you want to ask and get your questions off, and let's hear what you got to say on today's show. Come on. Let's get it popping. Let's get it going. Let's hear from you, the viewing and listening public, on your questions involving the world of sports as a whole. No question about it. I'm telling you, and I love the interaction. I do love it. Let me see. I got a bad shutout and battery decision. TKO by KO or TKO. Who is this reporter? What is this for? Where in the world is? What is this? What is this inferring to? Who do you have shutting out by ref stoppage? Is it? Are we talking about Usyk? Are we talking about Ryan Garcia, Devin, Haney? Are we talking about Boots versus Zayas? Are we talking about Ortiz versus any of the other champions? Or are we talking about a different fight? I'm a little bit concerned as to where it is. Oh, Thurman. Okay, Thurman. Okay, all right, okay, cool. Thurman, you talking about Thurman. I got, now, real quick, I got Thurman losing to Fundor by decision. I'm scared of that speed. It's going to be too slow now. That training, and I ain't seen nothing to give me any better confidence. Unless y'all got some clips that I haven't seen before of the recent training of Keith Thurman. I don't know if he's going to be, what's the word? Not hip enough. I don't know if he's going to be bouncy enough in terms of movement inside the ring to get away from the 80-inch reach of Fundora and win on, and to get on the inside to be able to succeed. I don't know. And so I think I got Thurman getting knocked out. I'm not gonna lie. I think I got Thurman getting knocked out because, man, it can't. That training footage that we showed last week. Lord knows, I hope that was just the end of the sparring session, because I'm scared that he's gonna get hurt, and he's gonna get hurt bad. I really am scared he's gonna get hurt bad. Also, somebody brought up Floyd Mayweather earlier, right before we were about to transition over. Was it you? I think it was Bud. If Mayweather's broke, he just threw out Heyman. Instead of suing out Heyman, come out of retirement and fight me. Well, if you didn't know about Floyd Mayweather, again, updating you all on the news and topics of the world of boxing, as we're still covering everything involving the boxing world as a whole. Floyd Mayweather is going to be one of the more... It's crazy to say, but Floyd Mayweather is going to be one of the most active fighters in 2026 this year. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds ridiculous. This brother's fighting 3 times. I can't believe it. He's fighting 3 times. Floyd Mayweather's fighting 3 times this year. He's fighting against April. Next month, he's fighting Mike Tyson. He just got another fight against Mike Zambitas in Athens, Greece in June, 2 months afterwards. Then he fight Manny Pacquiao legitimately for a world title. Now, this is his version of tuning up to fight in a professional setting. That's the case. Now, but I am going to say, I don't know if his body's going to be able to take this type of rigmarole going up to not nearly. He's going to be like probably 180 going up against Mike Tyson. Because he's heavyweight. 180 against Mike Tyson. 154 to 160 against Zimbabwe. And then afterwards, this same year, he then got to cut down again to get down to 147 to fight Manny Pacquiao. This might be bad. This is a risk that I ain't never thought we would see Floyd Mayweather take ever. For the standpoint of just activity. This is no way. Especially with this type of fight on the horizon. Ballooning up and down in weight like this. It's insane. It's ridiculous. But I'm going to tell you this right now. This shows me above everything. And Julius, it was you. Yeah, it was you and Bud Crawford that said it. And yeah, this shows me, this cat. I said he wasn't broke before. He broke now.
Hey, look at this.
He was. I said he wasn't broke before, but he broke now. He broke now. I said allegedly. I said potentially. I said I couldn't speak on it definitively though. But if it was true, I wasn't putting it out. I wasn't putting it out of pasture. But seeing that, seeing this brother fight almost as much as Naoya in a way, with Manny Pacquiao as the ending servant, going up and down, he owes money. And I think even Tank Davis had an interview years ago talking about how Floyd owes money to Saudi, Dubai. We even had Logan Paul talking about how he is owed, I think, $1.5 million by Floyd Mayweather for the fight that they had. I think, 2022? 2019? The first time Logan Paul fought when it was against Floyd Mayweather. I think he still owed money for that. And in fact, I'll play the clip right now if you don't believe me, just to show you this is in fact. This brother's in the world of financial trouble, apparently.
Think fighting
Did
Floyd.
Did you get paid from that?
He still owes me $1.5 million, maybe more.
How does he owe you the money? Why don't you just
Here's what happened. He pre-sold the fight using my likeness to some company in, I think, Dubai or like the Middle East for $10 million cash. We ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company paid him that money, is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment. I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's
He
facing a
rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. Sold for 6.6.
No, I didn't make as much money as you think.
And again, take the words of Logan Paul with a grain of salt. Because don't forget, this brother's also in some legal trouble, suing for a crypto scam that he ran on multiple occasions. Don't forget that. Do not forget that. Hey, don't forget that now. This brother is bad in his own right. He's done money over people all multi times over. Don't forget that. But at the same breath, and I think actually Phil Wade, is it Phil Wade? Wade Concept put out a video, I think an hour ago or 2 hours ago, as I'm live, about the whole legal troubles involving Floyd Mayweather and money. This brother is in a bad way from the standpoint of, I said before he ain't broke. I think he's broke. I do think he's broke. I think he actually might be broke. It might be bad. It might be bad. And to put his undefeated record on the line as well, to come back, it must be a lot of money. I thought it was a fluke. I didn't want to corroborate that this was the fact up until I got some more information. I got some more information now. Not just from Logan Paul, but from the other means of what he is owed money to. Yeah, he might. Ooh. Oh my. The money team Whew. Might have called him the loan team at this point because this buddy, it's looking bad. It's looking really, really bad. Let me see. What happened to all the smart investments? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. This buddy was one that he was touted as the best businessman boxing had ever seen. The entire industry of how boxers can go about their financial literacy of how to make money changed when Floyd came into the picture. It did. It changed when he came into the picture. And now it's gone. And it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? How could this fall from grace happen so immediately? Because he was coming bags of money at NBA games, flaunting on social media. And again, I'll say allegedly, because I don't want nobody coming after me. Allegedly, this is the case. He allegedly doesn't have the money that he said that he had. And allegedly, it's owing a bunch of people. And if this all alleged accusations are true, allegedly, then speculatively, I can look at this and say, yeah, he's desperate for money. He's desperate for money. It's gonna be bad. Let me see. Now he might get money by training new guys, but other than that, yeah, it ain't gonna be nearly enough for the amount of money I've heard he owes or I've seen he owes just to specific types of people. He ain't gonna earn he ain't gonna earn all that back just by training. Apparently, again, allegedly, he's putting himself in a bind, a big bind, a bind to the point that it's going to be, just that. Opening gyms, working with people, even training championship talent. It's not going to be enough, especially for this has been over the course of a number of years. Say this all in the immediate, I owe money now. He's owed money for a hot minute. Allegedly, he's owed money for a while now. So, because of that, just simply training folks and making champions ain't gonna be enough. I dare say the biggest fight he made. We think that these 3 fights are gonna be the things to do it, but who knows? Let alone, again, it's a big risk. If he loses any, I don't care if it's if it is an exhibition. He loses any of these first 2 fights, even before the fight with Manny Pacquiao. Guess what? His legacy is going to be completely changed, strictly because that undefeated record is going to be wiped away, even if it's again in the exhibition. Because as we say, we don't remember that Roy Jones fought Mike Tyson in an exhibition. We remember that Mike Tyson looked great fighting against Roy Jones Jr. at 54 years old at that point in time. And he won the fight outright from the standpoint of optics. We don't remember that Tyson Fury was in an exhibition with Francis Ngannou. We remember that Francis Ngannou should have beaten Tyson Fury and should have been the lineal heavyweight champion because the belt is always on the line, even if it's in the exhibition, if you lose in a boxing match of your own thing. Like it's always on line. And he looked bad in that fight, and it got used against him, even though it didn't count in the fight with Usyk because everybody was saying, we don't know, he looked kind of bad. Don't matter if it's an exhibition. We care because it's a fight ultimately. And it's going to matter. It's going to matter. It's going to matter. And I'm telling you right now, he would never risk that record. He only fought this long to get that record. If he was not in need of the money, he wouldn't be fighting. He's in need. Allegedly, he's in need. And so allegedly, he put himself in a position where he's got to go. He's got to fight. Because if he doesn't fight, he's going to peter out. It's going to be like Bruno Mars in Las Vegas. That brother was stuck there on a round table, brought out like an animatronic. Brought out like sticking Freddie Fazbear fighting some Freddy's. His cat was every single week. Every day we saw him singing the same song, same clip, same show, same dance. Different fedora. For about 3 months on end. It was insane. Now, allegedly, I'm not saying he owed money or not, but if that was the case, allegedly, we're about to see that same thing happen now. This boy about to be fighting every single day. This boy about to be in the gym ballooning up and down in weight, about to be going across the nation. Fighting left, fighting center. It's going to be insane. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Let me see. Floyd's broke. Yeah, I'm starting to believe Floyd. Yeah, I think he's broke. I think he's broke. I do think that he is broke. He needed that Netflix deal. And it seems like he needs that Mike Tyson fight. And the fight in Athens, Greece. Because it's apparently he's bad off. Let me see. He got $402 million on housing with Brax Pusto. Apparently that went bad. Whatever money he did have, apparently he needs some more. Because this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand this. For Floyd. I just, especially in fighting 3 times a year, with one of them being for the actual record against Manny Pacquiao, who just fought at championship caliber, and we don't know how the world Floyd Mayweather looks at this stage in his life at 49 years old. It's different, man. Let me see. This Deontay Wilder guy makes me curious if he should retire from Fury. What, Deontay Wilder? 43-2? 42 wins by way of knockout. He is, who is he fighting? Derek Chisora. If he loses against Derek Chisora, he should retire. He should have retired after he fought and got knocked out by Big Bang Jang. He should have retired. He should have retired after he lost to Joseph Parker. I dare say, even after what he looked like against Hearn Dawn, which I said was a better performance than what we've seen the last 3 times, shouldn't fight anymore. And I'm saying this right now. Derek Chisora, if he loses, I don't care if it's by knockout or not, he shouldn't fight anymore. Deontay Wilder doesn't need to continue his career. Now he could have kept on fighting after Tyson Fury. I'm not saying he should have retired right then and there. But it's the fact that he stayed with Malik Scott too long. And he let his pride get in his head of what he needed to work on and not work on, to the point that now he can't, when he had a window that he could have still been physically able to learn new tricks to be able to make himself a better fighter, he forgoed that. Especially with him getting away from Mark Breland. When he said that he was exposed because he was cheated because Mark Breland did not care about it, didn't take care of him. Sabotaged his water. Called the fight early. Threw in the towel when I wanted to go out on my shield. Made me lose. Blaming all on him. When that happened, when he left Mark Breland, he left his chances at being able to be better. When he left Mark Breland, he left his chances to be better. And ever since Malik Scott, even post Malik Scott, he's still a broken mirror of boxing ability that he hasn't been able to put himself back together. And after Derek Chisora, he should not fight again. Unless he looks like Deontay Wilder that fought against Berman Stavern. He shouldn't fight again. Not at all. Not by his pitch. Tyson versus Francis. Wait, that fight was real? Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. Hold on. That fight counted? Wait a second. I thought that fight was an exhibition. Versus wasn't. My gosh. No, you're right. You're right. It was official. It was real. My apologies. I forgot. In fact, you know what? I should have known. We even covered it on this show. We covered it on this very show, talking about the fact that it wasn't an exhibition and that Tyson Fury was in an actual 10-round fight. Hence why the lineal belt, what I was saying, was on the line regardless of the outcome, because it's a real fight. That's my fault. I completely forgot. We did talk about that way back. See, this is why you need to get reminded of history. It was real. It wasn't an exhibition. I do apologize. Thank you for enlightening me and what's the word? Reminding me, excuse me, that I was wrong. But even still, what was the point? Exhibition. What was I saying? Oh yeah, exhibition. The biggest thing about the exhibition, even though yes, Fury versus Ngannou was not an exhibition. You're absolutely right. The point still stood. Even if it was, people would only remember that Fury should have gotten beat, just like they remember now. Anything with Floyd now is a risk because if he loses, even if it's in these exhibition fights, people will still say, it doesn't matter if it didn't count officially, you lost, and we know you lost. So you aren't the same unblemished Floyd that we had in our minds. Because that's the stigma and image that he put on himself. Let alone if it's in a professional fight. And even if it's in a professional fight, now you're going up against a Manny Pacquiao who's been tested as, okay, you can fight at a championship level. Floyd, at this point in time, can he fight at an Errol Spence level? And how do we see Errol Spence fighting? Coming back into the world of boxing. That's the question. Is he even at that level of professional ability? Though he's still Floyd, how much of Floyd is left? That's the biggest question. That's what a lot of people don't know. That's what I don't know. That's what I'm excited to find out. And hopefully we will in the near future as the fights continue to go on. But we still want to hear from you in regards to everything involving the world of boxing and beyond. Anything else that you want to say about the world of boxing or sports as a whole? If you want to talk about Canelo and what he's going to do going forward. I almost forgot. As we I do have a clip that we wanted to play in reference to Devin Haney talking about his fight with his potential fight with Ryan Garcia. Let me pull it up right here right now for you all to hear about. Here are his intentions. If you have any doubt,
he has to be realistic.
Hold on, Devin. Don't move too quick. If you are in doubt about what indeed Haney's intentions are going to be for the fight with Ryan Garcia, and if this is all just blowing smoke and mirrors, or if it's the reality that's going to happen, well, I'll let him tell you for himself. That ain't it. There we go. I'll let him tell you for himself about what he's going to do in this fight. Or what he's going to do to make this fight happen. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Yep, y'all can see it. And here you go.
I'm not here he has to be realistic in these negotiations. I'm not here to just take anything to get back, whatever. Ryan Garcia, when the ball was in his court, he didn't make weight. He showed up with a positive drug test. It was all over the place. So we're not going to do it like that time around. We're going to do it the right way. And so if he doesn't want to do it the right way, then we'll move on. Like I said, we'll go on to fight the guy that beat him, and the guy that he doesn't want to rematch. He's not screaming Rolly's name.
That's true.
So, like I said, if that is the case, then we go on and we fight Rolly. And if Ryan Garcia wants to get realistic, then we can make that fight happen now or later. He has to be realistic.
As you can see himself. So apparently, if everything goes right from the perspective of Ryan Garcia doing what he's supposed to do, and none of the other shenanigans, again, per the words of Devin Haney, that we saw in the build-up to the fight, and ultimately in the fight, I don't know why that live stream thing keeps coming up, but ultimately in the fight with Ryan Garcia, as long as everything builds up and works out properly, yeah, we can get stuff going and we can throw down like we need to throw down. And if that's the case, great. Hopefully, prayerfully, that will be the case for Ryan Garcia as well. Doesn't have to do all the other stuff. Doesn't have to come in overweight. He's got discipline now. He's back with his dad. We should, I'm going to say this in a very tentative way. We should see this ability of sustainability of Ryan Garcia with his preparation as a boxer. We should see that be able to consistently be work. It should work. It should work. But if it doesn't work, my gosh, we can see this whole drama build up again. And again, he'll say he'll fight Rolly. Now, if he fights Rolly, I'll be clear with you. Rolly ain't calling out. Rolly wasn't calling for Devin Haney as well, because Rolly was said, like I said earlier, Devin Haney's a boring fighter. And I doubt, in my humble opinion, that Devin Haney wants to fight Rolly strictly because it's an easy fight. What Rolly did to Ryan Garcia, he would not be able to do Devin Haney. At 147, no less. No, that's not happening. That's not happening. It's going to be easy work if that fight does take place. But he at least put out a plan. Which I'm not mad about that. But I'm highly unlikely to see that fight take place, Rolly and Devin Haney. The focus is going to be Ryan versus Devin Haney. And we're going to see that. I'm almost sure we're going to see that fight happen. Let me see. Who you got, Kid Schofield or Body? Oh, yeah. If you also didn't learn, and I think this is going to be the last thing before I got to go. I don't want to end it early, but I got to cut it out early. Because I do remember, something came across my feed. Not my feed. Something came across my personal messages. I do got to handle some stuff. But Kid Hoskin, Floyd Schofield, is going to be fighting Body later on this year. I think it's I believe it's for the title. I can't remember if it's for an interim belt or for a legitimate belt. But either way, he's coming back in the ring. I got Kid Schofield. I got thank you, Abuga. WBA championship is what he's coming back for, or what he's fighting for. Absolutely. I got Schofield winning. I forget when the date is, but he's going to be fighting in a championship opportunity. Finally, I got him winning, and I want him to win, because if he wins, he can fight Abdullah Mason next, and then we can get a unification between two people that are incredibly young, incredibly strong, and can be a great stylistic matchup for each other. Length and strength versus compact size and explosiveness going at it in the middle of the ring, because both of them want to go to war. Off the backs of what we saw with Schofield and Tevin Farmer, and then Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes. I would love to see that fight happen. I would love that. Oh my gosh. I would love it if we can make it happen. That's what I'm picking is going to win. And if we can, if that is the case, it's going to be so incredible. It's going to be phenomenal. That is the fight I want to see at 135. Or one of the premier fights I want to say 135. Schofield versus Mason for the titles. If they both can keep Schofield can get the belt and Mason keeps his by the end of this year. By the end of this year, we can see something go down between them two. And it's going to be so exciting. That's a headline, or that's at least a co-main event. That's a co-main event on a major card with anybody. If that happened, that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. I can't wait to see that. It's gonna be so exciting. But I got Schofield winning. By decision, not by knockout, but by decision in this regard. And I think he's gonna be able to go and continue the dominance that he had against Tevin Farmer into his first ever world championship opportunity, and it's going to be so exciting. But with all that being said, we got to wrap this show up and end it home, or we got to wrap this show up and send it home, and we got to go through and get ready for tomorrow afternoon, and I got some other stuff I need to do as well in my own regard, so that I just remembered, right? It came across my screen, so I got to go and end the show real quick. One last chat before we end off the show. Imagine Tank versus Kid Austin, and his daddy's running about, see, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it on Thursday. Hey, look. We're going to talk about it on Thursday. We're going to talk about it on Thursday. Save that conversation. We're going to talk about it on Thursday. It's going to be so much. That might be something. But I'm going to talk about it Thursday and bring it up on Thursday as well. But this might be something. This might be something for real. But we got to wrap this show up and send it home so I can handle my stuff and you all can enjoy the rest of your afternoon. So with all that being said, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And now we end the show up with a bang, shall we? This has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this afternoon edition of The Watch Report. We're here Tuesday, Thursday, Friday afternoon, covering the world of boxing and beyond, going off the whims of the public and the people, and we want to hear from you, and we can't wait to see you return on Thursday, same time, same place, same channel. Be sure to leave a like on the stream before you leave. One like does a world of difference. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked and didn't like about the show. Be sure sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Also, be sure to go ahead and, if you want to support the channel, we got Cash App and PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chats and super gifts. If you can give to the show, it would mean the world to me, and I would appreciate it oh so much. Helps us to edify this show, helps us to make it better for you all, and helps me to pay the bills on the side, and well, not even on the side, as the forefront as well, because we want to make sure that we're funded by you all, and y'all make this show possible, and we appreciate you all so much. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and chatted on the stream. Y'all were wonderful. Y'all were glorious as a community. And we can't wait to see you all next time. Top 5 chatters for the show. Going to the Pound top 5 chatters for our show. The number 5 was Teddy Burchard. Number 4 was Jerry. Number 3 was Daryl Anderson. Number 2 was Julius. Number 1 was Moon Man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Moon Man, can you retain the number 1 spot in the Pound chatting rankings per YouTube rankings? I repeat, per YouTube rankings. Can you retain it as we go into next week, or go till Thursday, excuse me? We're gonna find out absolutely. But please keep on sharing the show. Subscribe to the channel. Come join the Empire. But before you leave on out of here, if you haven't already, we can't wait to see you keep on coming back. And we love you all, and we can't wait to see you all on Thursday afternoon. So, with all that being said, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We are gonna see you all on Thursday. Be safe. Be blessed. Salute to you. And we out of here.